time for your weekly MLB recap from that one MLB guy on YouTube.com.
Hi guys, it's that one MLB guy again. This is episode 8 of MLB Recap, and let's get right into it. Alright, now today the first topic is Cy Young races, obviously for the AL and the NL. In the AL you have your top 3, at least right now, that are Jared Weaver, Justin Verlander, and CC Sabathia. Jared Weaver's having a fantastic season for the Angels right now. He's 14-4, posting a 1.79 ERA, 134 strikeouts. And he's just been very, very consistent throughout the years. Started the All-Star game. And he's just a very good pitcher, probably the ace of the Angels. And I think Jared Weaver could potentially end up winning the Cy Young in November. But it all depends on whether or not he can hold that. A lot of pitchers, struggle with holding the 1.79 ERA or even an ERA below 2 halfway through the season. Now, the fact that he's been able to hold it through 161 innings is very impressive. Justin Verlander, through his second no-hitter this year, he's 14-5 with a 2.34 ERA, has 169 strikeouts, and obviously the best pitcher on Detroit right now. There's no argument about there, and probably the best pitcher in the AL Central as it is. Verlander is, one of these pitchers that goes out on every start, and, he's usually a very dominant pitcher, has his little screw-ups sometimes, and struggles sometimes against teams in the AL Central, but, he's a very good pitcher, could be a very high contender for the Cy Young Award in the AL, but we'll see come, October, November, around there. And, the Yankees ace, CC Sabathia, who's 15-5 with a 2.56 ERA, 156 strikeouts, and holding that rotation together with the with the other pitching help of Bartolo Colon, Freddie Garcia, and he's really trying to mend that together. You look at the NL though, your top 3 for this are Roy Halladay, Cole Hamels, and Clayton Kershaw. Now the reason why Jair Jurgens isn't mentioned is he hasn't pitched nearly as many innings as the other 3 I just mentioned. He's only pitched 128. Now Roy Halladay, could be the winner, but, because he's 12-4 with a 2.55 ERA, 147 strikeouts. But then again, his other teammate, Cole Hamels, could be on his tail. He's 12-6 with a 2.61 ERA. And then even Clayton Kershaw of the Los Angeles Dodgers is 12-4 with a 2.27 ERA. Now, other pitchers that could sneak in there, in the NL, because it's a very close race in the NL, could be like Tim Lincecum or Cliff Lee or Tommy Hanson. Could possibly sneak in there later on. But, the NL race for the Cy Young Award is a lot more competitive, I think. There's a lot better pitchers. Not saying the AL doesn't have good pitchers, but there's a lot more competition in the NL. Now, I know it's still early, end of July, but looking towards, playoffs and whatnot, there could possibly be another World Series repeat between the Texas Rangers and the San Francisco Giants. Both teams are, leading their division respectively. Texas is 2 games over the Angels currently, and San Francisco is 4 games over the Diamondbacks. And the Texas Rangers have had tremendous help from their offense with Michael Young and Nelson Cruz and Adrian Beltre, Ian Kinsler, and their pitching has been very dynamite too with Alexi Ogando and C.J. Wilson, Tully Feliz. They just putting together a very solid season so far, and to say that they are the best team in the AL right now isn't really, a stretch to say, because, you have Boston there at 64-39, then New York right behind them at 61-41, but Texas is still a very good team, and I think they could, cause some serious damage in the playoffs to other teams. And then you look at San Francisco, obviously being led and pitching by Tim Lincecum and Matt Cain and Ryan Vogelsong, and then their offensive additions of Jeff Keppinger and Carlos Beltran, along with the already powerful Giants lineup with, Aubrey Huff and Pablo Sandoval and the speed of Andres Torres. The Giants have also been making a case to, get back into the playoffs. And to say that they can, I wouldn't really agree with, because, the Giants next to the Phillies are the best team right now in the NL. And, they beat the Phillies last year in the NLCS, so who's to say that couldn't happen again? Last topic today right now is, in my opinion, some underrated pitchers. I'll name 4 of them right now. Dan Herron of the Los Angeles Angels, James Shields of the Tampa Bay Rays, Tim Stouffer of the San Diego Padres, and Scott Baker of the Minnesota Twins. Now, I just saw Dan Herron pitch the other day against Cleveland. He went 7 2/3 innings, struck out 10 and only allowed 1 earned run on 3 hits. Now, Dan Herron's been posting some really, good numbers this year. He's 10-6 with a 3.01 ERA and 130 strikeouts. Obviously, the second ace in the Angels rotation behind Jared Weaver. And Dan Herron has never really gotten the credit he's deserved with the other teams he's been with. And now that he's been posting some of these numbers, he's been looking really good with the Angels. I think, people should start talking about Dan Herron more, saying, he needs to be that pitcher who will step it up eventually, and become the overall ace if Jared Weaver were to leave, get traded, or even stay there, but, decline. I mean, Dan Herron is only 30 years old. He's still a very good pitcher. James Shields, a lot of people thought that David Price was going to be the ace of the Tampa Bay bullpen, or the Tampa Bay rotation, I'm sorry. And James Shields has really been stepping up with a 9.9 record. Don't let that fool you, though. He's a 3.03 ERA and 153 strikeouts. His last outing against Oakland was not really good. He gave up 10 runs on 12 hits and only struck out 2. But you look at some of his numbers beforehand. Gave up 1 run, gave up 0 runs, gave up 2 runs, gave up 4 runs. They aren't bad starts. And James Shields does not get the credit he deserves either. He's had a few complete game shutouts this year in complete games. And James Shields is a very, very good pitcher. In a very tough division against, the Yankees, Sabathia and Cologne, and the Red Sox, Lester and Beckett. He's in a very, very tough division. And then going to the NL, and Tim Stauffer for the Padres. Now, Tim Stauffer is a pitcher that a lot of people don't really know. And Tim Stauffer is doing really good. He has a 6.7 win-to-loss ratio. Don't let that fool you either, because he has a 3.05 ERA with 99 strikeouts. But Tim Stauffer, he's been a 5-year pitcher. He's been pitching for San Diego for the longest time. And he's not a very bad pitcher. I mean, besides his last outing against Philly, he's had, 0 earned runs, 2, 2, 1, 2. I mean, it's just been really good for Tim Stauffer. And he's had a few losses, one where he gave up 0 runs, and one where he gave up only 1. And those kind of losses are tough luck losses, but, those will happen. And last pitcher is Scott Baker from Minnesota. Now, a lot of people know that Francisco Liriano also pitches for Minnesota, and that he is kind of their ace. But you can't forget about Scott Baker. Scott Baker's been kind of shaky every year, but I mean, this year he's doing really good. He's 8-6 with a 2.86 ERA and 113 strikeouts. Now, unfortunately, last night against Texas, he had a loss. He only gave up 2 runs on 8 hits and struck out 4. So again, it's another tough luck loss. But Scott Baker is a very, very good pitcher this year, and he has he's inconsistently consistent, or consistently inconsistent. And Scott Baker is one of these pitchers that can have 3 good starts in a row and then absolutely lose everything after that. But I mean, he can rebound, and obviously he's been doing very well in that rotation, alongside Liriano and Pavano. And so those are 4 pitchers I say to watch out for. So you never know how they're going to do. Anyway, guys, this is it for this week. Stay tuned for next week. See ya.